what would you say for anyone who's, like, heard what your story, heard what you just mentioned, and is like, I don't want to feel that way or live my life that way, but
That
yeah.
that's a beautiful question because my latest book, Your Journey to Being Yourself, I it's all about that. And that's denial. And that's why I say the single greatest killer on the planet today isn't COVID, isn't cancer, isn't anything like that. It's denial and self-deception because of the worst day cycle and because this has been going on for thousands of years, our immediate response is to deny truth and deny healing. In other words, it keeps us sick and hurt and in pain away from this. And yes, it is confrontive because immediately what happens is it triggers that shame that says it puts us right back down into that child space of when we felt we weren't, our value and worth was diminished and our parents weren't there for us. And so it is this internal battle. And that's why the single most important skill a person needs to develop to recover from any of this is to learn how to confront their denial and self-deception. And that I don't see anybody, that's my expertise. That's what all of my processes walk somebody. Think of it this way. Remember the Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Remember the yellow brick road and Dorothy is standing there and she's all excited because she sees the rainbow. She wants all of that, but she can't see where the road goes. She knows it takes her there, but she's fearful of it, of what's going to be there because she's never walked that road to the rainbow of basically all these happy feelings. Well, that's what my emotional authenticity process does. It lays the golden bricks in front of a person and walks them down that path so they can slowly and over time get more and more comfortable confronting that self-deception and denial, feel safe in navigating and lessening the shame that makes them want to not pursue it, because that's what they're missing is a process of golden bricks in front of them, taking them step by step through all those twists and turns along that journey to the rainbow, where now they can experience the full expression of emotions, not this and not trying to shun this, because this dark side, that's the child who is rejected. And so everyone hates themselves when that comes up. And the answer, again, is a paradox. It's in the opposite. No, this is these dark feelings that everything you brought up of, ooh, I don't want to go there. Every time you do that, you are now being the parent to your broken child going, no, I don't like you. I don't want to love you. And that's what emotional authenticity teaches you is, oh, no, no, this is the side that needs the love the most. It needs to be confronted. It needs to be pursued. It needs to be loved. That's what it's missing. And so, again, we've all been taught the answer is to ignore it. But, my book points out that almost everything we've been taught in personal development, the answer is in the opposite. It's all the answers are over here. And nobody had laid out a process on how to go over here. And that's what I've done is here's how you do it. And so you can navigate all that fear, shame, and denial that comes up from that, that's proof of the original wound is, oh my God, I'll be bad and wrong if I pursue my authentic self, because I became all of these things to get attachment. So if I let that go, mom and dad won't love me. Well, the answer is in the opposite. Love can only happen when there's truth. And so if I'm not living in my authentic self, trying to protect my parents, I'm actually abusing my parents because they don't know who I am. Think of how many people, the most stressful time in life is holidays. Why is that? Because we can't be our authentic selves. We're always suppressing who we are to get attachment. Well, this changes that. And so it's not that our parents need to change, but when you learn this process, you learn to see them as the child, not the adult. And so they no longer hurt you. And so I remember when that happened to me, I was sitting on the couch while my dad was dying and he had cancer. And it all flooded into me. He was yelling at the TV. My dad loved to judge and criticize everyone on TV. And as I watched him, what I finally saw was, oh my God, he's just a hurt little boy. And I realized my dad, whenever I started to succeed, would cut my feet out from under me, would sabotage me. And I always took it personally. And as he said to me, you know, Kenny, of all the kids, you got the least. Well, in that moment, what I saw was, oh my God, because what I realized was my dad was an incredibly gifted emotionally, but his childhood taught him to feel anything emotionally was bad because he got beat. So he suppressed all his authentic self and became an engineer. Well, what I saw was the reason my dad came after me was I was him. I was his unrealized potential. I was a mirror to what he never pursued in himself. And so it wasn't a hatred of me or disliking of me. It was he was taught he had to reject himself. So he was just doing the best he could. No one ever helped him out of it. And so his attacks were never meant for me. And in that moment, I was set free. I had attachment to my father like I never had because now I saw the truth about both of us. And that's the reconciliation is we don't need them to change. When we do this work, we feel attachment that we never got. It reconciles that wound and they don't have to change a darn thing. And so we can sit in that peace and pursue ourselves. And so when my dad would make a snide comment, I just look at him and go, I love you, Dad. It sounds like that's really frustrating for you. Thanks for sharing. I didn't take it personal because I knew he was just telling me about his pain. And so from that place, you know, this child who's so hurt is no longer hurt.